Guys, sales are so bad right now. But this is not going to be a doom and gloom type of recording. We are going to focus on the positive, and even if that means going back to the past. This is a what sold video, and we're going to go all the way back to the end of January, beginning of February, and talk about probably the best week I ever had in my reselling career, all based on the sale of one item. So it was my top sale. It was that belt buckle that I shared in one of my other videos, and it sold. And so I finally had gotten it listed, and it sold within a couple days or something like that. So we will talk about that in a minute, and I will reveal how much it actually ended up selling for. But first off, the week was okay. You know, sometimes when a ticket item sells for us, then eBay goes dead. And so that could have something to do with what's going on in this last week and a half or so, except it's happening on a lot of the platforms. So I think there's other factors, but again, let's not focus on the negative. Let's talk about this first sale. We're going to start with eBay, and it's just a hat. You know us and hats. We got this hat at the bins at our little clearance thrift center. It's just a Polar Tech fleece hat. It was made in the USA, and it, you know, had that, it was kind of that trapper style, and that one sold for $20. I think we took an offer or sent an offer on that one. Now, if there is something that is going to get me down, it's the fact that people return things. Not the fact that people return things, when they pick the bogus reason for returning things, that it does kind of upset me a little bit. Can you guess why this soap dish is coming back to us? I'll give you 2 seconds to think about it, look at it, just knowing humankind. Why do you think they're returning it? Yes, sure enough, they thought it was real marble. So, our title, Vintage Retro Marbled Plastic Bathroom Kitchen Bar Soap Dish Holder Beige Brown. So, anyway, you can look at pictures, you can read the description, you can look at all the item specifics. It's plastic. We only sold it for, I don't know, it was $15 minus a 10% coupon. So yeah, I don't know the going price for real marble real marble soap dish holders, but I probably would not sell one for $12. But anyway, they might have gotten excited. They were getting such a good deal. They bought it. They got it, opened the return. Now my returns are automatically approved. And that's fine. Most times it does not bother me, but they chose item not as described as their reason for return. They chose that the item was not as described or pictured. So nothing I can do about it at that point. It comes back. It, you know, we got it. It was in one piece. It wasn't broken, anything like that. I refunded them, but then I did report a problem with the whole transaction. So eBay does let you report a problem. I don't know if anything is going to come of it. I just said that they, you know, it's in a drop-down menu, and you can choose that they chose the wrong reason for return. So whether it just kind of, if they make a habit of doing that, whether that has consequences, or, you know, I just said I didn't appreciate having to pay for return shipping, because we described and listed this exactly as what it is. Anyway, moving on from that little hiccup in the week, that was still not enough to dampen my excitement about this week, because you may have seen on one of my community tabs here on YouTube that we found another Glassy Baby. So we went to the same place I found the first one. And it was so funny because I did kind of have it on my mind, because I had found a Glassy Baby there for $1, and I sold it. I think I shared the whole story with you on a couple of videos. And so I had brought Mr. Pish Posh this time. He hadn't been to this particular place. This is the same place I got the Hawaiian shirt haul. It's the treasurer's office in our little, county office building. And they have an estate sale that they run in the back. So anyway, so he's digging around. It's a tiny room. He's like, oh, I pictured it much bigger. But anyway, it's a tiny room. He's digging. And I kind of had seen everything. I had been there several times, but you know how that is. There was a lot of glassware. So I said, you know what? If they had one Glassy Baby, maybe they have another. And so I did, look at all the shelves. I looked at all the glass and everything. Kind of had my mind on that. And then I missed it. So it was exciting for Mr. Pish Posh because he was on his hands and knees under a table. He moved something out of the way and he saw that and he was like, oh, maybe. And he flipped it over. And sure enough, this one had a sticker on it, which is very convenient because the first one didn't. And it, so it says Glassy Baby and it has the name of the color and the pattern, which is Bluebird. And so that made that easy. And so we listed it that night for $150. We ended up selling it for $135. This one cost us $3 at that sale. So $3 into $135, and that sold overnight. So that was exciting. This is a Yeti. It's called a Yeti Rambler. It's a can cooler, they call it. So it's just basically a sleeve or something to hold your aluminum can. When Mr. Pish Posh first listed it, I noticed that he had used the word koozie. I don't know that that's like jealously guarded or anything by the koozie people. Kind of like how Velcro, you can't use the word Velcro. You can't use Gerber. You can only use onesie if you're listing the little baby outfit by Gerber. So there's certain proprietary names that you just can't use interchangeably on other things. So I just said, you know what, let's not use koozie because this isn't a koozie. That's not that one, somebody trademarked that name. So just as a little tip. So this is a can cooler and that sold for $29.74. Then in the spirit of sharing all the Y2K stuff I come across, we had picked up, a while back, I picked up this beanie. It's from 2003. Back, if you remember Y2K, Julius the Monkey by Paul Frank was just kind of all over the place. So we had this up on eBay and Poshmark and Depop, and it was getting attention in all those places. This one sold for probably about $22. Is what it sold for. So not bad. I don't remember exactly where or when I picked that one up. Now, can you guess why this t-shirt sold? Thinking it's the end of February. It actually sold on February 1st. And yes, I'm sure it was worn at a party this past weekend. And so far I have not heard that they're returning because it didn't bring them the outcome they wanted. I don't know. Anyway, we'd had this listed for quite a while. And so, yeah, the Super Bowl, I'm sure, had a lot to do with it. And we sold it for $25. Then another beanie hat. It's like a little ski that, I don't know, podium wear. I don't know what the deal is with that. You wear it after you're skiing or something like that. But it went pretty quickly. It sold for $12. And then I sold some soap. This is Crabtree and Evelyn. I talked about Crabtree and Evelyn before. I think we had determined that it had gone out of business. I think it's back in business, or it was always in business, but it's mail order only. I know for a while you could get it at TJ Maxx and different places like that. But they have a lot of things, I think, that get discontinued. And so people have turned to eBay to get the Crabtree and Evelyn products again. Or it's just that they're that good and people want them. So this, I found a few bars of soap. I have sold one already. This one, the goat milk one, was the highest valued one that I had come across of the three that I picked up. And so this one did sell for $35, and I'm seeing now that it was an international sale, so they paid quite a bit more to get it into their country, which was, I'm always kind of curious. Oops. Dun, 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 dun. Canada. Okay, I almost guessed that. Okay, next up, SmartWool. Now, they opened a return on this one too. They said it was too big. So that's fine. It's, you know, returns for fit. They have to pay to send it back to me. And so that's an easy return. But they have not shipped it yet. So it's possible that they won't. That happens sometimes when people realize that they have to pay to return it. They just decide they have someone else they can give it to or something like that, and they just don't do it. But they might this week. Who knows? Maybe they were busy. This is a Mr. Pish Posh item. These are white trim plugs. I think these were a clearance item that he picked up, you know, at Home Depot or Lowe's or someplace like that. The end caps sometimes have clearance centers, and he usually scans that. So this lot of 5 sold for $75, but I did not ask him how much he spent on those. And remember this garlic press? I did a video about this, and I think my thumbnail even said, you know, this utensil is worth $50, and it sold for $50. It's a garlic press, and the brand is Xylus. I can open it up. It just says Xylus right there. The other side says Susi, S-U-S-I, made in Switzerland. And sure enough, it only, what did that take? Like a month or so? And that sold for $50. I really thought it would go for a little bit less than that, but that's okay. Now this little bowl, it's really small. It's only 4 inches across. I found this one and an orange one. And I will tell you straight up, I overpaid for these bowls. I paid like $6 a piece, which is too high. But I'm so tickled to find stuff from Norway or Sweden or Denmark in the middle of Montana. It just makes me happy. And so I saw these little bowls, and it had been a while since I had found Emelox. And the AL, I believe in Emelox, stands for aluminum. They're just super lightweight, but these were in really good condition with the yellow enamel. And it sold for $16.99. And the orange one has sold too, but you'll see that in a different video. Okay, here we go. Here's my belt buckle. Are you ready? This was so exciting. It was a little nerve-wracking, I will admit, because it was the highest valued item that I'd ever listed. And I listed it for $18.99. I can show you a little bit up close. Okay, here's the mark, Sterling Handmade, Hayes, Aspen, Colorado. And so I do believe this was a fairly early one. Jim Hayes had started, you know, this company in Aspen, like in the 40s. And the way Colorado is abbreviated and things like that makes me think it's a little bit earlier. And there were other family members, like there's a daughter who makes them still now, a son-in-law who did them for a while, and he signed his name. His last name was different, obviously. So this was just Hayes. So I'm thinking it's Jim Hayes himself. So that was exciting, and it was a fairly good size belt buckle. So, you know, I did not polish. I did nothing to it. I left it how it was. It's got life on it, surface scratching, things like that. So someone offered me $1,300, and I thought, you know what? $2 for this belt I paid at Goodwill. Not even $2, because I think I had a 20% coupon. So we'll just say $2. I was like, $1,300, that's really good. But I was like, you know what? This is other buckles by Jim Hayes, just as good, have sold for a little bit more. So like I said, I started out at $1,900. So I counter offered at $1,700, and they accepted. Okay, so I sold my belt buckle for $1,700, officially my highest sale ever. in my reselling life that I've been doing since 2000, what shall we say, 5 or so, like that, 2004, 2005. And so that was very exciting. But okay, so what I did is we shipped it priority, and we didn't ship it in a small package. We shipped it kind of in a bit of a larger package. I required signature confirmation, and I did pay for insurance on this. It was going down to Texas, and now we don't normally creep on our buyers. We don't normally Google them or anything like that, but we were really curious about the address, about the area where it was going to. And at first, I saw the address and I'm like, oh great, it's an apartment. So I was like, I just, visions, apartments, they leave the boxes in common areas. And I was like, it's signature required, but there's no guarantee that they're going to do it. And so we Googled the address and found out it was a very, very expensive address. And we found out that, some of the, I don't know which floor, like she wasn't up in like penthouse or anything like that. She or he or whoever it was a few floors up. But the information we found about the building itself said that some of the apartments, maybe just the penthouse, I don't know, the HOA dues. So it's condos, like they own the apartments. So that's fine. But their HOA dues monthly can be $3,000 something. And, we saw that and we were like, you know what? They can afford the belt buckle, no problem. So I didn't worry so much anymore about that. I figured there was also probably maybe a doorman or, somebody, I don't know. I don't know how the rich people live. But it just made me feel better that it would be a little bit more of a secure building. So I did message the buyer and just said that, just to remind them that there would be signature required. Didn't get an answer. It was delivered within a couple days, and I have heard nothing since then. I don't think I've even gotten feedback or anything like that. So I think all is good. Tracking says that it got delivered to an individual. So I'm sure all is well, and there is still an open return window here, but I hopefully would have heard something by now if something was going to happen. So that was my story. That was my exciting sale of the week. And then I sold some makeup. Like the next day, I sold this discontinued Covergirl makeup for $25. Same place as the Glassy Baby. One day I went there and there was a whole big bunch of discontinued makeup from somebody. So I bought those for like 25-50 cents a piece. Then we sold this vintage coffee mug for $28.99 plus shipping. I've had these Coffee Hound mugs over the years, but this was kind of fun because it was for Montana. So it's got just like a fun little thing. Little graphic on the inside, and then when you finish at the bottom it says get back to work. I thought that was a good price for that. And this is a sugar bowl and lid, and it's kind of hard to, I don't have like a scale or a ruler or anything on here, but it was pretty big. It was like not what you'd expect a sugar bowl, but the brand is Lennox. It's Butler's Pantry. There was a whole bunch of dinnerware in this pattern at the thrift store, and I looked through it all, and I looked up some stuff, and, I don't really want to sell a ton of dinnerware, and so I looked through all the different pieces and settled on the fact that the sugar bowl would probably be the best return on my money, and I did I paid like $10 for it, so I paid $10 but sold it for $40. Then I had another really nice sale. This is what I mean. Usually once I have a good sale, things slow down, but things continued on like pretty well for a few days. But like I said, all of the platforms are pretty slow for us right now. So, there could be different reasons for that. And we'll just hang in there. Okay, if you remember this one, I believe I showed it at the same time. It's the same day I got the belt buckle. I showed this in the same haul, and I paid $2 for this as well. This is a Flintstones thermos, and you can see it's metal and it's vintage and everything. It was really clean. The graphics were in good condition and everything. And I did get positive feedback already from the buyer, and they loved it. And this one sold for $70. Sold a little Dymo. This is just a mini one. And oh yeah, it says Radio Shack right on there on the little front. We usually sell these on Etsy, but we either moved it or cross-posted it or something. This sold for $18.99. Then I sold a leather picture frame by Brighton, and it had this, you know, silver embellishments on the corners, very Western looking. What was nice about it was that it was new with tags, and it was originally $48 probably at some kind of gift shop, Western gift shop. And we sold that one for $30. So ever since my picture frame video, I do always scan the picture frames. And, you know, I look for different brands, not just your average, like, you know, like picture frame makers, but different stores or different companies that necessarily are not necessarily known for picture frames, but for home decor, or, you know, Brighton is known for purses and shoes and belts and things like that. So leather goods. So that was a nice sale. And then I sold some Creative Memories page protectors. You know, Creative Memories stuff used to just sell. Even a few years ago, it used to sell super fast. Now it takes a little bit longer, but I did get my full $50 asking price on these page protector refills. Just it was 4 packages of these. And they were kind of an unusual size, but... And here's a brand that I'm not going to pick up again. I think I heard about it from other resellers for a long time. It was called Carbon to Cobalt. And we were on vacation in North Carolina, and I finally found it. And I was like, oh, look, Carbon to Cobalt. That's a good one. And it was an extra large, and we bought it, and it like sat and sat and sat and sat. And we finally sold it for $14. So I don't know if just the brand itself I think I heard that from a reseller, that it's just the brand itself is not selling, or if it's just a button-down shirt is not the type of item that the people who buy it are looking for. Because I think it should be more of an outdoor kind of brand. But anyway, I will definitely be more selective if I even come across that again. Then over onto Etsy, we had these little Teque snack tray little fish, very mid-century looking. And then I had 3 of these originally. These 2 had been on Ruby Lane, and it's a long story as to why I put them over there. But Mr. Pish Posh took the 3rd one. He sold it on Etsy, and so I said, why don't you just take these 2 and move them over to Etsy? And so he did. So these sold for $28. Then another wooden item, this playing card holder. Just a simple little box. I don't know. We picked up kind of along the way. It's just sold for $14. But, you know, it's probably handmade. No, it was made in Japan. So I'm sure it came with the playing cards and a couple pencils and like the notepad or whatever like that. But we just listed it as is, and it sold for $14. Sold this pattern for $12. It's a little romper, 80s, I think 80s or 90s romper. And this pattern sold for $20. So another costume, very colonial looking, French colonial style. Then over on Ruby Lane, I sold this ceramic pig head hook. Okay, so it's just a couple inches square. It goes on the wall, and it'd be great for something kind of lightweight, like an apron you could hang up there, or, you know, your purse or something like that. Very farmhouse kitchen. And I had a variety of these. I bought a bunch of these at once. I had some doubles, you know, I had cows, and I had a horse, and I had pig, I think a rooster. And I've slowly sold them off on different platforms over the years. So this one sold for $20. And if you remember a while back, I shared this in a haul video. This was a large art print. It was called Cosmos by Stutz. And so it's just like a lithograph or something like that. But the frame that is around it is kind of like a wood and a plaster together. So all that was on the back was this little tag. So it gave the name of the art print and then just like a number. And how do I get out of this now? Okay, come on. Ay, ay, ay. I'm not, my screen is not moving. Okay, I think I'm stuck. Oh, is that my X over there? There it is. Okay, so when I shared it, one of you viewers had done some research for me, which was super nice. And I had vintage wood plaster art print Cosmos. So there's some, that's what the, one of you viewers had shared with me that you found similar items by the Royal Art Company of Chicago, and they had been labeled as Gesso Duro Craft. Now mine didn't have that label, but very similar in style, very similar, even like kind of sticker on the back and everything. And it was very, shabby or whatever, but it sold for $40. And what was interesting is it sold very quickly. It sold overnight. So somebody just kind of liked that look right away. It's very pretty. And I believe it's from the 40s. That's when that other company was making theirs. And my other Ruby Lane sale, this was another real fast one. It's just a little butter server. It's just 2 inches. It sold for $11. I think I had it listed for $12. I had a discount for returning buyers. So somebody had bought from me before, and they picked this up as well. Hutchinruther. I know that's not how you say it. But here I'll show you it wasn't supposed to be that one. Oh yeah, show more. And then here's the mark on the bottom. But I really didn't think, it's made in Germany. I really didn't think that this little piece would catch someone's attention so quickly. But it did. And so it sold. Now we'll finish up on Posh. Posh was pretty slow that week. I sold this pair of vintage denim 1990s jeans only for $18. They were made in Taiwan, and it was just interesting that they had green stitching. So all the stitching on here was green, even though the jeans were blue. And Masters Clubhouse collection. So it's got the Masters Golf logo on it, and it's Clubhouse collection. And let's see, it was cotton something. It was really nice. It was in really good shape and everything. And so that's the thing. It sold for $30. Now, if you have any Masters stuff, I would get it listed fairly soon. When's the Masters? Usually April or so. And that is when I find that this stuff sells the best for us. Is right around when the Masters is coming up. So I think that's the only thing we have right now. No, maybe in that, when we kind of dug around in our backlog, I think we found one other thing. So we'll have to be sure to take our own advice and get that listed too. And I sold this pretty dress for $31. The brand is Bohme. I don't know. It just kind of had that look. I don't think it's Anthropologie. It's just, I don't know. I looked it up at the store, and then I was like, you know what? It's a popular style. It took a while. And so I don't know that I would pick it up again. I'm just very fortunate. I think it sold on Posh, and $31 is not bad of a price. And the last one was this awesome vintage neon pink knit ski beanie with a tassel on the top. So end of January, beginning of February, and we still squeeze a few more winter listings, sales out the door. Okay, that is it for me today. I keep promising other types of videos, but things just keep coming up. But I figured I could at least get another what sold out for you. I was going to get a different type of video. I have a few in my mind. Like I said, even last time, I think I have one I'm working on, and I'm still working on it. But I wanted to just not let you think I disappeared completely. And I'm a couple weeks behind on my what sold, so I decided to throw this one out here because I wanted to also share the news about what happened with the belt buckles. So, as always, thank you guys for watching. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe if you're so inclined, and leave me a comment down below about your best sale of the week, even if you want to share your best sale ever. And I would love to hear about it. And then let me know how sales are going for you. The next few what solds will probably not be very exciting. Oh, I don't know. We'll see how things are going. Maybe people just need to get their tax returns back. It's a rough time of year. All right, we will talk to you guys later on, and have a good rest of your day.